we have to remember, this has happened before. How people are so short-sighted sometimes. We experienced the same kind of hysteria when the United States purchased the Louisiana Purchase and Alaska. You might remember the Louisiana Purchase cost us $15 million. And it was inevitable that France was not going to be able to maintain their presence in America as we expanded. They just couldn't be here. So if it hadn't happened transactionally, it would have happened militarily eventually. But in one fell swoop, the Louisiana Purchase doubled the size of our country. And when you break that down into acreage, it amounts to 4 cents per acre. 4 cents. Can you get an acre of land anywhere in America now for 4 cents? I don't think so. Of course, 4 cents with inflation, probably like $1.50 now. So that's the price has really increased.
What was Alaska? About 2 cents an acre, right?
It was exactly 2 cents an acre. Yep. But even if you used inflation for the 1803 Louisiana Purchase, it'd only be $340 million in today's money. $340 million.
What a deal.
And as you mentioned, in 1867, we bought Alaska from Russia for $7.2 million. I mean, that's a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
For less than half what we paid in 1803. We got a state that's rich in resources and just slightly less territory than the Louisiana Purchase.
Sounds like Trump's working on a deal that Zelensky appears open to give us some rare earth minerals. They're gonna milk us for their security. Then we're gonna get a little something for that.
Yeah. So this is not unprecedented. I mean, these purchases were really controversial at the time. Secretary of State William Seward, who made the deal for Alaska, Americans were so enraged by that, they called it Seward's Folly. I'm sure, you've learned that in school. Or Seward's Icebox. See, because Alaska's kind of cold sometimes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, $7 million in 1867 works out to a whopping 2 cents an acre. Even in today's world, $7 million then would be about $157 million today. Worth it? I mean, we could blow $157 million on a tunnel for turtles or funding a really important Shakespearean play about a one-legged non-binary nun in Uganda.
I'm glad you didn't leave that out.
Yeah. Well, it's an important expenditure.
Sure is.
From USAID. So obtaining Alaska for that price, it was an incomprehensibly brilliant move. And obviously, you can say the same thing for the Louisiana Purchase. And now, here we are talking about another potentially incredible purchase, like Greenland. So this is not Trump acting like an imperialist dictator. It isn't Trump reenacting Napoleon or Hitler. Throughout history, we've made deals that benefit the country overall in ways that at the time people couldn't even have imagined and they were pissed off about. Even at the end of the Mexican-American War with Mexico, we've talked about this before, we drove the Mexican army all the way to their capital city and captured Mexico City. And then at the end of the war, we gave it all back to them in the Treaty of Guadalupe. And on top of it, we paid them another $15 million for the land they previously held north of the border. Who does that? Only we do. Only we have. I mean, we just kicked your anuses sideways, but you know what? We feel kind of bad now. So we're going to remove all our troops, give you back all your land up to the border, and what do you say to an extra $15 million among friends?
Yeah.
Let's just forget the whole thing. But that's how we wound up with California, Nevada, Utah, parts of Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, and Wyoming. I mean, that was a pretty good purchase. People were pissed off about the war at the time. Pretty good purchase. So was James K. Polk Hitler? Or, was he just the kind of president that you would name a Tuesday after? I think that's what he was. He
James K. Polk Tuesday.
That's the kind of president he was. I'm sure his family's proud.
Yeah. And, the Russia-Alaska thing, that was even better for America than just 2 cents an acre.
Mm-hmm.
That was during the Civil War. I mean, they were over here with their ships in our ports, basically flexing to Britain to keep them from joining the South. They were just kind of like, yeah, we're on America's side, the North, just so you know. And so Lincoln had the benefit of making it look like we had this, massive navy behind the North.
Mm-hmm.
And then as a thank you, yeah, we'll take Alaska off your hands. That's cool. Man, that was. I think Russia's been pissed ever since about 1863.
Yeah, and with that stupid move their leaders made back then, they probably should be pissed, just not at us.
Yeah,
be pissed at the Tsar for doing that. We didn't do that to you.
They could have used that money later on in World War I.
Yeah, that's for sure. Wow.
Those resources.
Jeez.
That would have been helpful. But anyway, communists came in and took over.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But, when you're talking about these things with your friends, just to fill them in on a little bit of history.
History, right? Put it into context.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's we're not a static nation. We're dynamic. And when opportunities present themselves,
we take advantage of them.
You want people in power, in office.
To recognize it.
Yes.
And do something about it.
I think it's called putting America first.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.